So it looks like there's finally a new video out from Canon showing the 90D, its specs and what it's all about. And well, let's talk about it. Well guys, the Canon 90D is upon us. We've got a video showing a lot of its specs and what it's all about. And a lot of things have changed over the last few months. The Canon announced that they've actually discontinued the 7D series, and we were kind of hoping to have maybe the 90D become the 7D / the 80D and maybe kind of amalgamate those two lines in one. And well, for the most part, it doesn't look good. I'm gonna say that a lot of people are not gonna be impressed with this camera. Let's dive in and have a look. Well, here it is. It's a DSLR. You know, that old style of camera that is pretty much dead. So, yep, there it is. It's a high-speed continuous shooting of 10 frames per second, which is worse than the new M6 Mark II, and it's not even 10 frames per second in servo, meaning that there's no way at all that this is a replacement for the 7D series. This is not a sports camera. This is not a nature camera. This is, I don't know what this is. It has the new 32.5 megapixel CMOS sensor that you find in the new M6 Mark II, as well with the Digic 8 processor, with dual pixel AF with limited eye autofocus. As far as video shooting is concerned, it does shoot 4K 30 and hopefully they brought back to 24 frames per second, which was insanity to take out. And do expect a crop, although apparently the M6 Mark II doesn't have one in 4K. We'll have to see. Remember in the last video when I said this? As far as autofocus is concerned, it's got to be a lot better than your 45-point autofocus. That's garbage. Give us something close to the EOS R. Give us your dual pixel autofocus. Give us a bunch of points. This is kind of what we expect these days. Guess what? Canon's mind-blowingly opted to include the same 45-point autofocus system that's in the 80D. And this is just insanity if you ask me. I don't know what they're thinking. This is just not okay for this day and age. They have an incredible autofocus system in their EOS R and others, and I don't know why they wouldn't have just put it in here. Or just make it mirrorless for that matter. Craziness. Other than that, it looks to have mediocre weather sealing and probably the same battery, which has decent battery life that you expect out of a DSLR. But all in all, this looks like a DSLR version, a crappier version of the new M6 Mark II. So yes, it's still a decent little all-around camera if you're just getting into the market, but as far as what people expected, I think, and where the 7D line has gone, or any sports camera right now for Canon for that matter, escapes us. I don't know what's happening. Hopefully there's a few more announcements in the next coming months, but this one's a bit of a head scratcher if you ask me. Looking back at my minimum hopes and expectations for this thing, I really don't think that they hit a lot of the marks that were required to actually have a good camera selling in this day and age. It seems like they're just scraping along at bare minimum, and people just loyal or invested in glass might pick it up, but for the most part, people looking around are going to find a heck of a lot better elsewhere. And that's just a fact. So back a few years ago, I actually owned the 80D, and I thought it was a great camera for what it was. And if this camera would have come out maybe a year and a half ago, I think it would have done really well, but unfortunately, right in time for the mirrorless boom there, they've now completely missed the mark. If you ask me, I really think it's time for Canon to double down on mirrorless and start giving us some decent bodies with IBIS, for God's sakes. Let's start with that. And of course, we do need some kind of replacement for the 7D line. The 7D Mark III, I think at this point would have been a much more welcome camera than this letdown of a 90D, but let's be honest, Canon's really starting to be known for just letting people down. Unfortunately, that's it guys, that's all we've got so far. Of course, this is an unreleased camera, so we'll have to see everything in stone when it comes out, hopefully soon. But that's going to be it for this one. I hope you liked this video guys. If you did, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Drop your questions and comments down below, and like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.